81-79, you guys were making a run, and
yeah.
you just kind of pulled away. What happened in that stretch, and why couldn't you guys kind of keep up with it?
I mean, they were making threes and they had, 30-plus assists tonight, so they were doing a good job of spreading us out and attacking specific matchups. And every time we got within close, it seems like they would hit 2 threes or 3 threes, create separation, or get to the free throw line. So they've been showing it all season. And for the past few seasons, they've been showing how good of a team they are together and how well they play off each other.
You were, after the last game in Dallas, you said you were looking forward to facing them again, getting kind of a litmus test. What does this tell you about you guys?
I mean, this road trip or just this game?
This road trip and then
this game was high intense, high emotions. Battle of 2 of the best teams in the league, and you can tell that some of the mental mistakes and also the mistakes that we made on offensive, defense, they took full advantage of it, and it was a litmus test. But it's just a regular season game at the end of the day, and we're not going to take it too far. We got to get ready for a good game against the Sixers on Sunday. But we just take our lessons, man. Just grow from it.
When you get booed when you touch the ball, does that motivate you at all? Do you even hear it?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the arena, man. A lot of attention's on me in terms of just the fandom. It's been 6 years. You gotta love it. But rightfully so. They have a right to boo. And, for my career record against them for the last few games, I haven't won. So until I beat them, then they have all the right to continue to boo. I think that's what makes the theatrics of sports and competitive sports fun. And just got to embrace it, It's part of it.
In terms of, seeing Jason and Jalen grow and getting to that, what's that process like from the outside after beating their teammates when they were younger?
I mean, they've learned how to accept that failure is part of the journey, and that every season is going to be different, and that the pieces around you, how you elevate them, matters. And they've taken a lot of my advice, but also they've taken a lot of others' advice, and they have experience now. So you got to give them credit, and to see them grow, I'm nothing but proud. They've been showing it again for the past few years that they're a force to be reckoned with, not really playing around with us in the regular season, a lot of his teams, and you can see that they're remaining focused, and that's the true testament of a team that wants to win a championship that's hungry.
What impresses you most about the way they lead that team now at this point, and how they've kind of grown as the initiators of that offense?
Just how they make it work. I think they had a lot of external noise around them as a duo, and how well they would work together in the future, and what was going to be the future, who works well, was it JB or JT. And just as a fan of the game, you see all that, you hear all that, but knowing them personally, I think that they're handling extremely well, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty going after what they want, metaphorically speaking, right? Just out there as leaders, they're willing to put their bodies on the line, they're willing to play a lot of games to put their team in a better position for the season, and you got to give them credit for that.
Knowing those guys, do you keep up with them, going through some of the ups and downs they did, since you left? Did you kind of check in with them and give them some motivation or anything like that, just keeping that relationship up?
They didn't really need any motivation from me. I mean, when I first met them, they were hungry young players who wanted to be stars as soon as they got into the league, and I think that's what separated them from a lot of young guys that I've been around, is they came into the league with that chip on their shoulder. Meeting JB when he was in his second year, seeing the Boston Celtics draft JT, and then now 6 years have passed, and JB's doing wondrous things, JT's doing wondrous things, and their teammates around them trust them. So it's a good sense to feel as an older brother, but as a competitor, I want to beat them every time still, and they know that. So I think that's what makes all this fun, and there's extra motivation for all of us when we're going against each other on the court that will remain sacred on the court, but off the court, support each other still.
You mentioned the 6 years. You want to move on past the booing and all that stuff.
No, the booing's part of it, man.
Yeah.
I have dealt with Boston fans prior to me even coming here. I wouldn't say that. I've exited them a few times, but early in my career, we used to come up to Boston and smack them around. Yeah. So I've had both sides of the coin now, and I've accepted that that's what comes with the competitive side. So I've had both sides. Sending Boston fans home, then also them booing me all the time. And then seeing the way they treat some of the star players in the league. I mean, they want to win, so you gotta give them credit.
What's it like to grow older in this league and be not the old head? You're not that old yet, but just the guy that players look up to and say that they played you in 2K and that kind of thing, what's that like, that transformation like from going from young guy to veteran and terms of being a leader?
I've embraced it. It's a process that I don't take for granted. I mean, if you look at the average lifespan of a professional athlete, just specifically a professional basketball player, it's maybe 4 or 5 years. So there are no guarantees, and especially if you're a number 1 pick or you're number 60 pick, you got to find your niche. You got to find your team that you can grow with, and I feel like I've done that here in Dallas, and it's been a great unraveling of who I am as a person here as well, of maturing. When you come into the league, it's just basketball. It's not really a work-life balance. So once I learned that, then pretty much the keys of the world opened up to me, and this basketball forum became more of an artistic expression for me, a competitive lane where I can express my emotions. And then outside of that, I mean, I have a tribe I go home to that loves me and I love them. So my life outside the game, too, is also just as big, if not bigger. It means something to me, and that's what I do now as a veteran is help these young guys rationalize that, yeah, there is going to be some media pressure, there's going to be some fan pressure, yeah, there's going to be some social media pressure, but you got to dial into what matters to you and find that work-life balance, because this newer generation, man, they, I would say I'm included, this social media pressure and fandom and media pressure sometimes can get overwhelming, and no one knows how to say that they're suffering in silence. You know, mental health awareness, your mental health awareness is a big thing. It's not a cliche. So, you know, all that stuff is just grouped in, and me being a conduit or a bridge, I just try to explain to people that I've been through it all. You can come to me and talk. And as a veteran in this league, it's totally different than when MJ was in, Kobe was in, Tim Duncan was in. You know, I came in 2011 when those guys were still the elders, Dirk Nowitzki. So they passed on the culture, but it's a newer culture emerging. You got young guys coming in that want to establish who they are, and they want to go completely outside of what the norm of the NBA culture is. So I think that I give that credit to a lot of the young guys, but also me as a young veteran, I feel like I still have to keep the old NBA morals and values still very prevalent and relevant. Because it's almost like a free-for-all now, you know, in terms of platforms and teams, and, you know, so that's just my perception. I don't share that or speak for anyone. It's just mine.